Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in today's second video. We're going to European Outlook for today's second video, so it's also on Thursday. We're having a look at weather for next week, 10 days in detail for Europe. I shall get on with that for you very shortly. Just say that the first video released today was the JMA seasonal update for April, May and June. So we haven't done a JMA seasonal for quite a few months. I thought, have a look at the seasonal model today for the JMA. So have a look at that and see what the Japanese are forecasting for April, May and June. And we're going to have a 10 to 14 day coming up for you later on today as well. That will include all of the regular features. Signs still there, but we're going to have a cold Easter, so more about that later on. If you're enjoying videos on the channel, then please don't smash your like button, make sure you're subscribed, and don't forget to tell your friends about GavsWeatherVids and drop a comment. Let us know what you think. Right, we're going to start off on Thursday, today, actually. We're starting off today, Thursday, 25th of March. Here we go then. Low pressure is moving in from off the Atlantic into the north and the west of Europe. Got a ridge of high pressure down towards the south, and that's ridging into some central and eastern parts of Europe as well. The upper air temperatures look like that. Reasonably mild across many southern and southwestern parts of Europe. A little bit cooler, though, up in the north. Precipitation-wise, there's a lot of dry weather because most parts of Europe are under the influence of high pressure. So we've got some showers through Germany, backing in towards the low countries, 1 or 2 through France, but most parts of the Med are dry, and much of eastern and northern Europe is dry as well. Much more unsettled for Ireland and the UK, and particularly Ireland and Scotland, actually, where we will have some showers and maybe some longer spells of rain developing, and some snow possible for parts of central and northern Norway as well. Temperatures look like that, so pleasantly spring-like really across many central and western parts of Europe. So got Germany, France, for example, in those yellow colours. That's getting temperatures into the mid-teens Celsius quite nicely, and really quite warm as we come down in towards the Med, through the central part of the Med back into Spain. Temperatures there will be in the upper teens or low at 20 Celsius. It is colder in northern and eastern parts of Europe, so Scandinavia still a struggle there to get temperature all that much above freezing, especially central northern parts of Scandinavia, where it does get colder coming down this eastern side of Europe as well, as come down through the Balkans, for example, over into Black Sea and heading down in towards Greece. It is quite a lot colder than you'd expect through those areas, with temperatures having a real struggle. That's tomorrow. Low pressure again moves in off the Atlantic, bringing further spells of rain into the northwest of Europe as well. At the same time, its ridge is being pushed further eastwards, and pressure looks like it's starting to weaken down into the Mediterranean as well. Upper air temperature look reasonably mild through most central and western parts of Europe, but it is cooler or colder on this east side of Europe and across the far north of Europe, and it's beginning to get colder again into UK and Ireland as well. It's beginning to pull back in the -5 Celsius ice firm from the North Atlantic. At the same time, though, looking quite hot down towards southern parts of Spain and into North Africa. Temperatures there perhaps going into the mid-20s Celsius. Precipitation-wise, again, lots of dry weather on Friday through most parts of Europe. Obviously, much more unsettled in the northwest. There will be outbreaks of rain pushing across the UK, and that will be followed by blustery showers, which could well turn wintry into the north and west and through parts of Ireland as well. Some rain or snow through southern parts of Norway, but the majority of Europe, again, you'll see, is looking mainly dry. Most parts of the Mediterranean looking dry, and much of eastern and northern Europe looking dry as well. Temperature-wise, look like that. So it is getting colder for the UK and for Ireland, just into the far northwest of France. But conversely, the milder temperatures are pushing eastwards. So Poland is beginning to turn very mild tomorrow, temperature going into mid-teens Celsius. Going further northwards, it's still pretty cold for Scandinavia. These eastern parts of Europe still looking quite chilly, not quite as cold as it has been, perhaps, but temperatures just lifting up a little bit through the east part of Europe. We go through into Saturday, the next area of low pressure, which is quite a deep Atlantic storm system, really, to south of Greenland, will be starting to whip itself up and probably bring another batch of wet and windy weather into the north and west. At the same time, more unsettled conditions will be starting to push into eastern parts of Europe, and again, just looks like pressure is weakening a little bit down into the Med. Upper air temperatures are beginning to show those milder upper air temps being pushed into more eastern and northeastern parts of Europe. At the same time, the colder upper air temperatures from the North Atlantic beginning to spread in towards the Low Countries, Belgium, Holland, Netherlands, and Germany and Denmark as well, perhaps. Down through Mediterranean, it's reasonably mild still through there, quite warm down across southern parts of Spain. Precipitation-wise, Saturday, a band of rain will be pushing eastwards across the central part of Europe. It might turn to snow as it bumps into some colder air in the northeast, particularly most likely across Norway and Sweden, of course. Showers follow on behind through Germany in towards northern parts of France and into Denmark and also into the Low Countries as well. And then here comes the next batch of wet and windy weather heading in towards Ireland and western parts of Scotland by the end of Saturday. Further southwards, loads of dry weather continuing through the majority of the Mediterranean despite pressure weakening a little bit. Temperatures look like that. The mildest temperatures being pushed into the east of Europe, generally quite cool or chilly, or for the far north, pretty cold as we go through into Saturday. The Mediterranean again looks reasonably mild or quite warm through southern parts of Spain. Temperatures there going into the mid-20s Celsius. That's Sunday. Wet and windy weather sweeps in from off the Atlantic into the north and west of Europe. We are drawing in a very mild southwesterly wind, though, across northern parts of France and into southern parts of England and Wales. At the same time, got a bit of a ridge here through the central and eastern southeastern parts of Europe, so should be reasonably settled through there, I would have thought. Upper air temperatures show that we are dragging up some warmer air into the western part of Europe from off the Atlantic Ocean. Warmest temperatures of all are down across Spain and into North Africa, of course, but through France, into Ireland, into particularly England and Wales, temperatures are lifting up through there. Quite chilly up across Scandinavia, many eastern parts of Europe, a little bit on the cooler side as well. Precipitation-wise, and again, lots of dry weather through many parts of Europe. The wettest weather will be in the northwest, so through Ireland, UK, in towards northern Germany, parts of the Low Countries, Denmark, just into the south of Sweden and Norway. That's where most unsettled conditions with outbreaks of rain probably turn to snow as it bumps into cold air further northwards. The majority of Europe looking mainly dry, you'll see, with a high pressure influence continuing. Some snow perhaps over on the European Russian border. Temperatures look like that, so quite cold across the very far north of Europe through much of Scandinavia, so it's pretty chilly through there. Otherwise, it's a reasonably mild scene, especially in the west and southwest of Europe, where it is actually quite warm. Monday, another unsettled day for much of northern and northwest Europe, but again, many parts of Europe under the influence of high pressure, so a lot of dry weather through central, southern, southwest parts of Europe and into the east as well. The most unsettled weather will be with this area of low pressure in the northwest. Upper air temperatures on Monday look like that. Most parts, again, pretty mild, especially for western and southwestern parts of Europe. Even into Scandinavia, we are drawing up some of these milder southwesterly winds. Precipitation-wise, rain across the far northwest of Europe, so through Ireland, in towards the UK, in towards northern Germany and Denmark, and then up into Scandinavia. That's where we'll have outbreaks of rain and a risk of snow as we go further north into Scandi, of course. The majority of Europe, again, though, the emphasis is on dry weather under a ridge of high pressure. Looking really mild on Monday through many western parts of Europe. We've got temperatures probably going at around 22, 23 degrees, perhaps across southern parts of France, down into Spain. I think temperatures there could be up to around 25, that's 77 in Fahrenheit. Even southern parts of England might get temperature up to around 18 or 19 degrees on Monday. These mild temperatures are spreading through the Low Countries into Germany, into Poland as well. So the majority of Europe has a very mild start next week, but it will be colder up across Scandinavia. A bit of a change as it goes into Thursday. The high pressure begins to pull out into the middle of the North Atlantic, and we start to turn the wind back into the north or northwest across the far north of Europe, beginning to get colder there. Otherwise, most parts of Europe under a ridge of high pressure and drawing up the air from the south will be mild or warm. There's the upper air temperatures showing that through Scandinavia and just into northern Scotland. It's beginning to turn colder, but the majority of Europe actually looking warm with the 15 Celsius isotherm pushing northwards across parts of southern France and into northern Spain, and the 10 Celsius isotherm here into like the middle part of France. So yeah, most parts of Europe looking very mild on Tuesday. Got a lot of dry weather again with those mild upper air temperatures. So through most central, southern, western areas, you see the emphasis is on dry weather. There is a band of rain from the Atlantic all the way over to the west of Russia. That's marking the boundary between cold air starting to dig in to the northwest. So the precipitation over Scandinavia could start to turn readily to snow on Tuesday. Temperature-wise, again, it's a very mild scene, or a warm scene actually, through most central, western and southern parts of Europe, but it is colder further northwards. Into Wednesday, next week, high pressure again pulls further northwards up towards Greenland. That's starting to bring in colder air still into northern parts of Europe, and pressure beginning to weaken over the continent as well. So possibly by the middle of next week, it's starting to turn more south, but the upper air temperatures look really warm actually through most parts of Europe by the middle of next week, particularly through like Spain into France, over in towards southern parts of Germany. For example, I think we see what temperatures wider going into the low 20s Celsius. Now, where there's some heavy rain around across Ireland and the UK, could be some really wet weather through there, and across Scandinavia, as cold air begins to dig back in from the north, we see precipitation turning readily to sleet and snow across many parts of Scandinavia. Again, otherwise there's a lot of dry weather, but that's just a few more showers beginning to break out. Italy maybe getting some showers. Spain, and particularly Portugal, maybe getting some showers as well. So things just start to wobble a little bit through the middle of next week. Temperature-wise, it's getting colder in the northwest, so through Ireland, UK and Scandinavia, we'll see the temperature beginning to fall away. Otherwise, again, quite warm. France, for example, could easily be into the low 20s Celsius through the middle of next week. Thursday takes a high pressure further northward still to Scandinavia. Colder air is increasingly digging into the northern part of Europe. Look at Scandinavia, beginning to see those the minus 10 Celsius iceberg pushing back in from the north. The warmth is still trying to hang on across southern, central, western and southwestern parts of Europe, but these cold upper air temperatures are beginning to advance southwards. We're beginning to break out some heavy showers and thunderstorms across Spain and Portugal, maybe pushing into some central parts of the Mediterranean as well. There could be some torrential rain in with that. And outbreaks of rain spreading eastwards into the eastern part of Europe. There could be some snow mixed in with that as cold air begins to dig in from the north. Snow across parts of Scandinavia, and the rain across the UK light beginning to die out as cold air starts to dig in. Temperature-wise on Thursday, you see that through many central, southern, western and southwest parts of Europe, it is still quite warm, but the north is clearly turning colder. As we go through into Easter, so this is Good Friday, we start to dig in much colder air from the north across many parts of Europe, and that continues into the Easter weekend itself. There's the upper air temperatures showing that Scandinavia is well and truly plunged back into freezing conditions, really, with those blue colours reappearing, minus 10 Celsius ice pushing back through Scandinavia. Most parts of Northern Europe turning a lot colder as well, and as we get through to Easter Sunday itself, which is day 10, of course, we're looking cold and blocked across much of Northern Europe, and this area of low pressure down here could bring some extremely wet weather into parts of Spain, Portugal and possibly France later on in the Easter weekend. So yeah, it's an interesting outlook, starting off pretty average, turning very warm for a time through the early and middle part of next week across many parts of Europe, and then by Easter possibly unleashing some really cold Arctic air from the north once again. Right, if you enjoyed the video, please smash your like button and let us know in the comments what you think about this and all of our videos. We're going to be back later on with your 10 to 14 day update, including all of the regular features, much more on this chance of a cold northerly blast for Easter, and that will be coming up later on. For this European Outlook, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.